All right, I'm going to get started here after a good lunch. We got Chef Kelley, land-based kitchenista. She's my partner in my support.
A lot.
In life.
A lot.
And Jill, the sous chef. And she's going to make some Katie Mae's recipe, right?
Yes.
Okay. Chef Kelley.
All right, so what we did, I changed jackets so we would know this is a different presentation, but I love my jean jacket because it's the most comfortable thing. So I changed it to this. So we are going to be doing Chef Katie Mae's recipes. She sent you 5. You've got them in your packets. But I wanted to make sure that instead of just skipping it and trying to do something else, I wanted you guys to see the recipes. She's got great recipes, and she had her own place, which is the Culinary Gym, but she's actually closed that down. She's going to go more online. So you'll notice on your recipes at the very bottom, you'll see that we typed out this address. If you go to the culinarygym.com, there's a free gift. You can start, and she's actually working with John McMahon to do online videos and things like that. The Culinary Gym, what it's about, is like just the same thing. When you go to a gym to work out, you think about, you prepare. So when you've got your trainer who's sitting there, if you're trying to work with the trainer, he's like, you got to stand right. You've got to have your posture right. When you get ready to lift, you've got to lift it right and all those type of things. So you go through training to make sure you're doing the right things. So the Culinary Gym, the way she looks at it is you should do the same things if you're getting ready to prepare food. So you should, have good posture when you're trying to prepare things versus, hunched over your cabinets. But also think about like knife skills and then how do you set up your kitchen. She's got a free video out there that's really fun and you can get it on her site, the Culinary Gym, and she did it with John McMahon. And it was really funny because you got John in the background with the camera and he's following it around and it's his kitchen. And and she's like opening cabinets and exposing basically his world and stuff to everybody. And so she's opening up and she's like, oh, what's this? And so you hear him explaining things in the background. And she goes through like his cabinets and she's looking at the spices. And she's like, well, this is not the best organized way of spices. You should be, put the ones on the front row that you use a lot. And then how do you stack them up? And then he has these little kind of like little mason jars. They have a little flip lid on them. And she's like, oh, that's not the best. You really should get something that is more of a screw top. But then he argues with her on the video, which is funny. And he's like, no, I like it because it's pretty. And I was like, you wouldn't think you'd hear that from him. So she does that and she kind of rearranges that. And then she looks up and she's like, well, why do you have this up here, which is quinoa, when really 3 shelves up, when you really should have it here because this is one of your base ingredients. And so she reorganizes his kitchen in like about 2 hours. And she also goes through all the mason jars, which he has on the bottom of a cabinet. And she's like, well, you can't see that. You should put them up so you can see if you're missing oatmeal or you're missing, whatever flours or something like that. So when you get ready to the grocery store, you can open up your cabinets and be like, I need almond flour, I need this, I need this, I need this. I need black beans, whatever else. So that's what it's about. So she's doing this whole prep and she's got all kinds of recipes out there. She's got really good recipes. She's not going the cookbook route or anything like that yet, but all online programs. So please go onto her site and follow her. She'll probably be one that we will bring back to the Healthy Taste of Colorado. So because as a celebrity chef, so kind of watch that too. But that's what it's all about. So we're going to make 3 of the 5 recipes. There's one of them, watermelon salad, and I thought, well, everybody's got watermelon probably at home right now or tons of it, and it's pretty easy to add mint and things like that. So we picked the ones that were a little bit fun. All right, so peachy quinoa salad. So the first thing we're going to start with, of course, is we did quinoa. How do you cook quinoa? Instant Pot? Rice cooker? Stove? So when you put it on the stove, what do? Just let it boil and boil until it's ready, or boil the water, put the quinoa in, then do you just kind of let it boil until it eventually soaks up all the water and then it's done, or do you do something different? Rice cooker's easy, but if you've got it on the stove, let's just say you don't have a big kitchen and you don't have all these appliances and you don't have all the cabinets to store them. You put it on the stove, basically get the water boiling, or put the water. I actually just take the water, put the quinoa in. I put it on the stove. I start it boiling. When it starts really kind of boiling and it boils for about 2 minutes or so, I turn it off. I turn it off automatically. I put the lid on. And then when you do that, you get this wonderful quinoa, and it's not mushy, which is really nice. So it soaks up the water, and and then you just take a fork and fluff it up. But it's really easy. So you've got it, 2-3 minutes on the stove. You turn off the burner and walk away, and just let it sit there, and it'll absorb everything like that. That's the best quinoa, other than if you do a rice cooker or something like that too. So quinoa is really easy. So I made a bunch of quinoa last night. One of the things that I love is the tricolor, because it's pretty. So it has the black, it has kind of a rust color, and then it has the white. And a lot of times and stuff, you can actually find at Whole Foods, quinoa can be very expensive when you buy it. You can also get it at Costco in the big bags. I think it's like maybe $9 for a great big bag. But if you're looking for the really pretty tricolor, what's really nice about this one is there's one at Whole Foods, and it mixes, I can't remember there's another grain in it, but the same bag that you normally pay like $9.99 for the tricolor is only like $3.99 because it has one other grain in it, but it's just as pretty. And you would never know that it was a different grain within this. So that's all this is. Okay, so we've got the quinoa cooked because I didn't want to have to do that here. So we've got the greens here. So these are just regular, greens that you get from the King Soopers, anything that you want. If you didn't want to do greens because maybe you don't like the radicchio or something like that, then you can do romaine lettuce. You could do spinach. You could do anything that you want, anything that's out there right now. I mean, spinach is plenty right now. But this just makes a really pretty dish like that. So we've got Jill that's cutting up everything. What she's doing over here on the stove, our fake stove, but it does work. We've got pecans. So right now we're just toasting up some pecans because it's the best. One thing too, if you're at home and you don't want in like the summertime and stuff, and you don't want to heat up your ovens or your stoves and things like that, induction burners are a great way to go. Because you can these are electric. I mean, you can get the propane ones, but those are a little more dangerous, and they made sure I didn't have propane for here. But the induction burners that are here, this is great. You could actually put it, you're getting ready, and you put it on the counter so you could have something going, or if you have a party, like if you have a fun party and it's maybe you've got a fondue and a couple other things like that, you can actually just keep the induction burner and keeping it warm. So these are nice and handy to have around. The one I bought is New Wave, so N-U-W-A-V-E. Watch on their site. They will actually, because a lot of times these can be expensive. I think there were like 2 for $99.99. So it's very inexpensive. And I've been using these in all the cooking classes. All right, so we've got red onion. So just going to toss it in. We're not going to do a lot of red onion, just because if you put too much red onion in a salad, that's all you taste a lot of times. But if you don't like red onion, what other things? Yellow onion, white, scallions, anything else. It's all your preference. And I always talk about with the recipes, and I know Katie May does also, when we make the recipes, you get to try them the way that the recipe states, but when you go home, you could add roasted red peppers, you could add all kinds of different things in it. Make it your own. Figure out what other things that you like in it, and then things that maybe you're not a red onion person, so then you put scallions in, and it just completely changes the whole taste and the feel of the salad. All right, so I'm going to mix the quinoa in. It's that fancy measurement stuff again. I also have the gloves on. So one of the things, if you're home, of course, you don't have to use the gloves because your family loves you and they love your fingers and everything else, right? So with this and stuff, when I do salads in my classes, one of the things I always do is I massage in whatever the dressings are. Why would I do that? It softens the lettuce, especially if you got kale or something like that. Yep, very much so. But it also, you use a lot less dressing. So if you've got a dressing that's on here, if you just pour a little bit of dressing and then you get in there with your hands and you mix it up. So let me ask a question. How many of you guys have gone to a restaurant, ordered a salad, ordered the balsamic vinegar? What happens to the salad or the balsamic vinegar? What does it do? Pools to the bottom of the salad. And you end up getting like your bottom pieces are like, your eyes kind of roll back in the back of your head, but the other part's good. So if you end up massaging, I wouldn't say you want to do it in restaurants, but I can see. Wouldn't that be fun? Like a whole group of us go to a restaurant and just like massage and everything? That would be fun. Yeah, put the gloves and, snap them. So when you massage it in, like I'll make, like in my classes and stuff, I'll make dressing sometimes in a bowl like this, and they'll be like almost 3/4 of the way full. And I'll make it like 3 times the recipe, and then I'll just pour a little bit in, and I get in there and I massage it. And then I pour a little bit in. So I do a light massage if it's more of this type of a lettuce, but if it's kale, I get in there and use your knuckles and just, really, really build it up. So if you're breaking down kale, what breaks down kale? What's some ingredients? Citrus, exactly. Citrus does really good. You can put citrus in it. What else? Avocado is very good. If you do like a little bit, like some slices of avocado, like I think it's what, an eighth of a slice that we're talking about, you can actually, if you put that in kale and then you get within there with your hands, avocado and just like a little bit of like a no salt or something like that and some pepper, really good. Citrus does it, so lemons, oranges, limes. Vinegars, yes. Any type of vinegars and flavors and stuff, then then that actually breaks it down too. That's really good. You can tell, don't know how to cook small. It's a lot. But actually the recipe says 8 cups of lettuce, so there's a lot of lettuce in here. Mixed greens. Just give you a fork and... Actually, I have seen her eat a salad like this. The last summit that we did, she came in and she's like, I'm really hungry, what do you have in the kitchen? Because we had a kitchen behind us at the Parker Event Center. And I said, well, I have a big bowl of salad here. And she's like, well, what else do you have? So we threw broccoli on it and stuff, and it was actually in this bowl. And then she threw grapefruit vinegar on it and sat down with a fork and just sat there and ate it. So, yes. Yeah, she's not shy, you notice. But she is, like I said, she's probably one of the most warm and caring individuals and helps. I mean, if I call her about something or ask questions or something, she's always there. She's been doing this a long time. All right, I'm not. Just use the rest. No waste. Thank you. Okay, so orange juice. And then when you're, grab a spoon. Do some of the pulp. You want to know a really good dressing? Balsamic vinegar and oranges. So if you ever go, so there's a place called New York Deli. That is their balsamic vinegar dressing. So all you do is just put it in a blender. So what I do is I scrape out all the pulp and everything and all the juice, and then you put it in a blender and just zap it a couple times. If you want it thicker, of course, you would add like some agave, or you could add some chia seeds to it, zap it up a couple more times, and you can store it in the refrigerator for like 5-6 weeks in a mason jar. And it's really good. You just take it out, shake it up. Oh, I just got some. So if you're making it, so in a blender, I usually will put like a cup of balsamic vinegar. Make sure you get a good balsamic vinegar. And then I would do, so if I got a cup in there, I would probably do 3 oranges. Squeeze all the juice out of them and take the pulp as much as you can out of them. And it's really, really good. If you guys, because I know it's hard, and you can go buy all kinds of dressings. How many of you guys like the dressings you can buy? Wow, isn't it? And they're not good. So if you guys are interested in stuff, I have tons of recipes for all kinds of dressings out there. I have one that's a stone ground mustard, and I take that to like every time I go like Thanksgiving and Christmas and go to parties and stuff. Everybody ignores the bottles and goes for that one. It's got stone ground mustard, and it's got scallions in it and all kinds. It's really, really good. And the good thing about it too is you can actually keep it. Go ahead, I'll let you just dump. You can keep it in the refrigerator in a mason jar, is usually what I keep them in, for probably, I think I've had it up to 5 weeks. Because it doesn't have oil, it doesn't go rancid and those type of things. It's just really, really good. Okay. Yes, they're all oil-free. Yep, so I have like an avocado, so if you want more like a green goddess type of a dressing, we've got some ranches, we've got a lot of Italian type of dressings. I have it all on one sheet so I can send it out. Happy to do it. Yeah, anything, especially if you can find a really good dressing and be able to take it with you or even just use it at home, it's just really, really nice. That's it. Okay, make sure I got everything. Yep, toasted pecans, they're coming. So if you think about it, I didn't put any oil. I didn't put any balsamic vinegars. I didn't do anything else in it. It's got your fresh fruits. So we've got a nectarine in here. We've got a peach, Palisade peaches. Don't know what those are. Try them before you go. Got the red onion. Got the pecans. That's it. And the oranges. We'll dish up at the end. But Get some of the peaches to show. What else could you put in it? Avocado would be really good. An eighth of a slice. Peppers. Yep, you could do roasted red peppers that are in water. Yeah. Beets. Oh, ugh, no. You can, I'm not coming over. It is one food. I will make it for the classes. We'll make beet salads and things like that. But the smell and the people are like, try the golden one, Jalep. Blueberries, strawberries, like you could do mango. Yeah, you could do papaya. You could do all kinds of everything and everything that's in there. So it's just an easy salad. Good. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the next recipe. As I put quinoa, it's like I flipped it everywhere. We're going to make, so the next one you want to grab out is the sweet potato tacos. So we have sweet potatoes that we already cooked. If you're doing it at home, of course, you can either, you can roast them up or you can dice them. Doesn't really matter. And then we're going to peel off the peeling. I don't do anything to them. That's what Chef AJ kept saying. She says, how do you make potatoes better than me? And I'm like, oh, it must be the Colorado air. I don't know what it is. But I just have, I've got a newer stove, but I just put it on parchment paper because, if like some of the juice comes out, I don't want to have to sit there and scrub the baking sheet. So I'll put it on parchment paper, and then I put it at 400. Unless I've got a lot of time at home, then I'll put it on 350. And then I put them in the oven. And I just let them sit there. And usually when I know that when they start getting done, it's because you'll start seeing some of the sweet potato juice come out a little bit, and it'll caramelize on the parchment paper. And then I just test them. Like these, I made them, I will usually make them where almost the skin puffs, and then you have these delicious potatoes and stuff that are underneath. So you can almost mash them and make them really creamy. I did these a little bit less because I knew I was going to heat them up in the class for here. You can nuke them, yep. You can do anything that you want with them. She was just asking about how we did it. Why did Chef AJ like them? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things too, you can do your potatoes in an Instant Pot, so you can get them all nice and soft. But then you can take them, put them on some parchment paper, throw them back in the oven, 350, 400, and crisp them on the outside. That's another way to do it, which makes it really easy. Yeah, my mom used to do the same thing. She was, it was always the Crisco, boom, and then wrapped it up in the aluminum foil, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then stuck them in the oven. And then they'd sit there in the oven for quite a while. It took me the longest time and stuff after leaving home. It was just like, how am I going to do this without aluminum foil and everything else? But just roast them up. Nothing better. Want a truthful answer? Do you want a truthful answer? So it depends. So when here's kind of what. So I always use the no salt, just because I always buy everything no salt as much. We can put a little bit of stuff in if we want and just kind of start heating them up. I do that just because I don't have the salt. But then if I'm going to do it into a salad or something that I don't want any of the juice to absorb, yes. If I'm going to do like a soup, a lot of times no. Because if it does have the salt in it, yes. Then I will rinse them. And the reason why is just the flavors that come out, like when you've got all those mixtures and stuff, and it's just really, really good. You also, do you know that all the juice that comes out from like garbanzo beans and stuff is aquafaba? Have you guys been following that? I would say that they do the meringue. It's not quite as good as like the regular, the old meringue and stuff, but it's actually really fun. You can make cookies. There's books out. There's a book called Aquafaba. But all the bean juice, you can use kidney beans, black beans, everything, and make things out of it. And so there's no waste at all, which is really nice. So we're going to heat those. So we're just heating those potatoes up because they've already been cooked. If you were home, you could actually dice them, put them in the oven, If you put them in the oven on parchment paper, and when they're diced and stuff, put some vegetable broth, but then also put water, because the vegetable broth will burn off really quick, so just mix it with some water. So that way it kind of steams them, but then almost towards the end and stuff, it'll get them more caramelized, and they're really good that way. Okay, so Jill's got the cabbage cups, because this is made lighter with cabbage cups. So you could do this with either the cabbage cups like this, which is really pretty, because it's like a little vessel, and it's really good for you. And we had, of course, a bunch at lunch. So you guys are gonna get lots of cabbage. Or you could use the romaine lettuce, or you could use butter lettuce. You could use, whatever's out there, whatever's your favorite. So, but this is just really pretty. When Katie Mae did this on one of her, she did on one of the first videos that she did with John, she actually took martini glasses, and because she was doing it for, for a cooking show, and she put all these martini glasses there, and then she had all the fillings and all the pretty stuff that you put on there. So like jalapeno peppers and a little bit of avocado and all the stuff that you wanted to put on the tacos in these martini glasses up front. And so you could just dip it out. And it was really pretty. Jalapeno peppers, everything. It's good. So we're using on the sweet potatoes, just like I said, just heating them up. We're using the Hannah yams. So these are the ones, like I said, that Chef AJ likes. Last year when we went when she was making a bunch of things with Hannah yams, she actually brought them in her suitcase because we couldn't find any. They have them here now. I've started seeing them like Sprouts and King Supers and things, but they're not called Hannah yams here. So I think it must be a California name for them that they call them. They're just regular, they just call them like white sweet potatoes. So you can buy them now, which is really nice. But for a long time and stuff, couldn't find them. Yes? Garnet's a little bit different. Those are usually more the orange flavors. This one and stuff is a New Jersey or a Hannah. Yeah, or white. Some of the Japanese are, then some of them are purple. Yeah, depending on what you're looking for. Really good place. How many of you guys that are in Colorado? How many of you guys go shop at H Mart? Few? It's good. It's a little intimidating when you first go in, the store is, just because there's so much there. But as far as if you want the most fresh, like say you want to go in and get rosemary and basil and thyme and like bunches of it, and then all kinds of different, fruits and vegetables and that, it's a really great place to go. So because they have like bulk. I mean, the other time I was in there, they had scallions, and the scallions were, how you see them in the store and they're like really thin right now? There, they had them and they were like this thick. And the greens on them were unbelievable, and they were 3 for $1. So there's really good pricing there. When you get into like the bulk aisles and stuff where they have all the flowers and stuff, they have the Asian version, but then they have all the names and stuff in English. So you can kind of find out stuff to do that. If you do ask for help in the H Mart, which is it's in Aurora, you need to go up to the front desk, so the customer service, and they'll actually show you where things are. But you can get jackfruit there, you can get, anything and everything. And it's a really great price store to get things, and just get it like quick if you want bulk. All right, that's enough for that. We'll turn that one off. Okay, so got the cabbage. And I got the cumin. Okay, so we're going to follow the recipe, so you always have to keep us honest. So add the black beans. And right down here. That salad looks really good. It's pretty. Drained. I did drain them here because I didn't want all the liquid in the black bean. All right, then the next one we've got is cumin. Never used cumin until I moved here. Kansas girl. Grew up in Kansas. My mom had, when you open up the cabinet, how many spices do you think she had? It was close, 5. So, no, I know, now, cinnamon. Yeah, well, of course, sugar. Big packs of sugar, because you always had to have cinnamon toast and stuff on Sundays with the bacon and the eggs and everything else. Yeah. So it was no garlic and onion powder, which was very strange. So it was cinnamon, lemon pepper. Where are you? I have no idea. Salt, pepper, paprika, plain paprika, not smoked. That's it. It's all I grew up with. So when, so when you got into the world and, chefing and everything, you're like, spices are they're a little intimidating. But that now I have my cabinets full of spices, and I do savory spice a lot. And then there's 6 shelves that go on the door that goes down to the basement because the basement's not finished. So there's 6 shelves, and the shelves and stuff are all lined with spices that I don't use as much, but I use for all my classes. And then I have bags full of spices, all kinds of stuff. No, she was just asking, does Savory Spice give away free spices? Oh, yes, they do. They actually do. So if you get onto Savory Spice's site and you sign up for whatever one's close, I think there's one in Aurora, there's like four of them around here. They will actually, they feature a spice. So they'll do there's one like Ghost Salt they did one time. And if you go in there, you can pick up a pack, like a 1-ounce pack of it, and they'll give them to you for free because they want you to come back and shop some more and do those kind of things. And Pinsy's does the same thing. Pinsy's is another spice shop. What's really fun, if you've not, how many of you guys have gone to Savory Spice? Yeah. Isn't it fun? It's like a 2 or 3 hour type of thing. You just go there and you start, you've got all these mason jars just lining the walls. And you go in and you're like, I want cinnamon. And they're like, what kind of cinnamon? There's maybe like 30 different cinnamons. So you get to try those different ones. Chef AJ actually took my extra cinnamon that I had because she's like, because we made her carrot muffins on Friday. And she goes, what is this spice that's in here? She goes, this doesn't taste like my regular ones. And I said, this is the cinnamon I use, which is different. And she's like, I have to have it. So she took my bag, which is fine. I'll go get some more. But it was a Saigon, but it was they've got a Saigon that's mellow and they've got a Saigon that's really spicy. It was a Saigon that was spicy. My favorite type of what? Cookbook? Cookware. Oh. So I have Bernays, which is at home. That was one of the first ones that Mary McDougall had actually recommended. It's kind of, they're like dark black and stuff, and they don't peel and things. Do not get Calphalon. Do not go spend the money. It's just one of those things, because that Macy's has them and they're $500, $600 a set. They peel. After about a year, they'll start peeling off the bottom, which you wouldn't think that would happen. Stainless steel, anything that's really good stainless steel. But the funny thing is these are, what are they called? Cook Home. I bought these on Amazon from a cooking classes, and I bought 7 sets. These have been used for like 6 years. Look at that. They were $50 a set. Stainless steel. Works great. They get a little something stuck on it, one of those little kind of Brillo pads, done. Oh, you smell that? You're like, no, I'm not hungry. All right, chili powder. He was just talking about one of the most beautiful things about a plant-based diet is the cleanup, because you don't have the burnt grease and everything else. I actually one time helped a chef, because I didn't know about as far as it was included, but oil was included in the class. And so everything that was made for me was no oil. But when I was helping with the dishes and stuff, I was like, what's going on here? And I felt like it was the weirdest thing. I felt like I'd been slimed. It was on the blenders, and it was just like, this is the weirdest thing, because I had been away from oil for so long, and I had no idea. Yeah, the cleanup's very easy. And especially with stainless steel, it heats up well, it cleans up well, because you can just scrub it down and ready to go. Okay, so we've got everything in here, so we just make sure. So we got the black beans, got the cumin, got the chili powder, salt-free seasoning. So this one, you can tell it's bulk. This one's actually Kirkland brand. It's at Costco, and I think it's like $6.99. It is really good. It's no salt and no sugar. So it's a really good one versus you can get the Table Tasty, which is a lot more expensive. Smells? It is called Organic No Salt Seasoning, and it's at Costco. Just a little bit, because we don't want to. All right. This smells really, really good. I feel sorry for anybody who has to clean up the tables after us. It's bad. Okay, so everything's ready with that, so we will actually plate that up here in just a second, and we will start. So Jill did cut up the tomatoes, and we've got the avocado, so we've got that all diced up, and then we've got the limes. So that's all ready. So if you were having a party, this is a great type of thing. Make some type of filling with the tacos, and then have different ways. They could do the butter lettuce, they could do the cabbage, and then you have all the different fixings that are on the front. So you could put pineapple, like chunks of pineapple. You could put roasted red peppers. You could put a slaw, like what we had for lunch here today. All those kind of things, and then just line them up in like glass bowls, or even if, somebody like me who has a bowl fetish, obviously, that's my stack of bowls, but silver bowls like that is fun, and just have everything set out and let people make their own. Like I was watching when we did the trail mix, the nut mix. Everybody was making their own. Everybody's like, ooh, ooh, and it's just fun. It's just fun that way. All right, so we're gonna do that here in a second. Now we're gonna get. These are all Katie Mae's recipes, so they're in your packet. So you should have the one that has it looks like, it's got Katie Mae's pretty face on the front. If you don't have one and stuff, we can sit down and see the registration desk. Okay, now we're going to make a 3-bean chili. This is going to be really interesting. This is a different one, cherry chipotle. A little bit different. You can move down to my board if you want. All right, so we're going to so Jill's helping me. We're going to cut up the onions and the portobello. I'll show you a little bit about portobellos. I get asked this question a lot. So portobellos, of course, have the gills. Do you always take the gills out? Depends. Some people, yeah, so if you, I hear in the back, I do. So if you're making a stew, let's just say you want to make something like a no beef stew. So Kathy Fisher did this last year. So if you want to make that really nice brown sauce that you would normally get if you made the stew with all the meat and all those type of things, leave the gills in. The gills are what colors whatever sauce you have with it. So if you want a really pretty brown sauce and it looks like really luscious and that, leave the gills in. If you don't want that because it will discolor everything, take the gills out. Okay? So like this recipe and stuff, we can dice it up so we could leave it in, but I'm actually going to I'm going to do one with the gills and one without. Stems. Keep the stems, throw the stems away. You need to test them. So it's kind of in between the two. So depending on if you've got a really fresh portobello, because sometimes every once in a while you'll go to the store and the stem and stuff will be really tough because you know that it's been probably shipped through 17 semis to get to here and whatever else. If it's really soft, use it. And that's because a lot of people will like the mushroom stuff that have the long stems, so just the regular button mushrooms, stems and all. Use them all. No waste. They all work. Okay, so I'm going to take one out. So just a spoon like that, just scrape. And you could actually keep that, freeze it, for the next time you make a stew. If you wanted to do that. If not, you can throw it away. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Easy. And then I'll leave this one. Just check the stem. Really soft stems. Keep those. All right, so we said the portobellos, we're going to do it diced. On the So you're talking about how you wash the mushrooms? Is that what you're? A lot of people don't. So it kind of, I guess it's of the two different farms. There's a lot of people and stuff that will go with the vegetables and they won't wash carrots, they won't wash all the different things because they look at it as it's good things for you. So it's like if you're, I guess it helps your immune system. So some people will do those kind of things. And then, but if you I look at it as, I usually will just take just a light towel and just kind of brush them off and make sure. And sometimes if we get some like button mushrooms that look really like spot and stuff, then I'll just right into the water and stuff and then shake them off really quick and put them in the bowl. But these and stuff I just wiped down because they were very clean. But there's a lot of people that, yeah, they won't. I mean, you will watch cooking shows like Chopped and all those kind of things, and they take it right out of the basket. And they're, you'll ask them, and I've actually talked to a couple people that have been on Chopped. There was a young girl that was here in town that was on Chopped. I think she got third place, here when she went on there, which was pretty cool. You want? And she was talking about that a lot of times the stuff they'll prepare behind the scenes. So it really depends on what they do. But I think probably more than likely on like Chopped events and stuff, they're still washing them behind the scenes and making sure everything's all good. Okay, so we'll get this going. Start. Okay. So we're going to cut, we're actually just going to let them, I'm actually going to add a little bit of vegetable broth. You can actually, if you're home and just want to just do a dry simmer, you can. No sodium. That's one nice thing about these induction burners. I take it off like that, it automatically stops. It goes on a pause. So you never have to worry about anything happening with that. So we'll get that cooking. Let's put that on, I don't know what Max sear. You guys are going to be interested, though, in the cherries that are going to go in here, aren't you? There's those darn mushrooms again. Thought about that. How many of you guys have taken knife skills courses? Knife skills courses. Knife. What do you think I said? Okay. That's the Kansas that comes out of me every once in a while. I'll say a word and people are like, what did she mean? Yeah. No, if you do a knife skills course, it's really fun. You learn all kinds of different things. You learn how to hold it. You learn, where's the sweet spot on a knife? This one or this one? Right, this is your sweet spot. That's where you should be cutting. Should the knife ever leave the board when you're cutting? Yeah. Unless you've got something big and you don't have much stability, that's when it would be, exactly right. Like this knife, I mean, we use this for the cooking classes and stuff. Usually the knives you want is the one that makes sure the blade goes all the way down. These are actually, though, for the cooking class, these are 6 years old, and they hold up. These are updates, and they're very inexpensive, but they're really, really good. The other place, too, the other thing that you can do when you go to Sur La Table, which is here in town, they will sharpen your knives, any knife that you give them, for $5. I took all of them in there, and they give you a nice little cover for them and stuff, and it's really nice. But yeah, knife skills are big. So how do you hold your hand when you're knife chopping? Going against enough. You want to keep the fingers out of there, because that's what ends up usually happening. Is there more cuts with a sharp knife or with a dull knife? You can get them with the sharp knives too, if you're not paying attention, or mandolins and things like that. But yeah, definitely if you've got a dull knife, because you're pushing on it more, and then you're squishing your tomatoes and all those kind of things, you'll get cut more with a dull knife. Okay, so got the jalapeno in there. So spicy, you got cherries and jalapenos. My favorite type of what? I like wood. I do have both at home though. So I don't like glass, because when you're cutting with a knife, it's easy to, if you hit something, it's easy to slip. And a lot of people will have glass because they think it's more sanitary, which it is. But the minute, if you're at the wrong edge and stuff, you could hit that and then cut a finger really bad. The what? Oh, I do too. We've got, at the church where we do the cooking classes and stuff, there is a couple, like when we run out of cutting boards, there's a couple that Jill and I have used, and they're just like ching, ching, chink, chink, and it's just the weirdest. You may almost feel like you're going to break your knife or something. So we have that. Mine is, I was always wood. I love the wood, but I do have a plastic one that somebody gave me at one time, and it's little, so it's really nice if I want to just do one tomato or something like that, then not have to get the big cutting board out and do all that kind of thing with it. But so the cutting boards that we gave to the speakers and stuff were that, and they're really nice. And so like these cutting boards are just, I got them off of a kitchen site. They're not bamboo, so they tend to crack a little bit, because we wash them all the time through the cutting class. So what I've done before is I've had to do a little bit of wax and melt it down, and then actually come back and reseal them. I don't know why it's stop making noise. So I reseal them, and then I basically take a little bit of scraping off of them and stuff, and it seals all my cracks. But when you're cutting boards, if they get wet a lot, they will crack really, really easy, unless you get something that's really hard type of wood. Definitely not glass, wood. That's what I like. I just like the feel of the wood and the knife. It's just a smoother for some reason, more so even plastic, because plastic, you get those little grooves in it and little cuts. Yeah. All right, so this is all cooking, so we've got that. The portobello's in there. Some gills, some not. Eh. Doop. And the nice thing about it too is, like, right now, I'm not going to add any more broth. Why? Mushrooms. Mushrooms, some, depends on the mushrooms and stuff. Some will give you a lot of liquid and some won't. So, but most of the time, portobellos and stuff will give you quite a bit of liquid. And then if you put more liquid in it, then you got this liquidy mess. If you get a whole bunch of liquid and you don't want it, just pour it out. Or pour it into a bowl and keep it for when you're making a soup or something like that. Put it in a jar, because you're getting all these wonderful flavors of things together. Okay, so we've got the onion in here, we've got the jalapeno pepper, we've got the mushroom. So that's all cooking for here just for a minute or two till the mushrooms get soft. For the cherries, you could buy the fresh cherries, because there's cherries out there right now, but you're going to be sitting there with a knife and your fingers and pulling the seeds out of every single one of them. What's the easier way to get the cherries? Frozen. Cherry pitter, yep, you could do that. So if you wanted to do the fresh cherries, and like, let's just say you're having, friends and family over and stuff, you could have somebody be doing that while you're cooking this. Frozen cherries are a really easy way to do it. And you can there's like sour ones, there's dark. I always get the ones that are like more the dark sweet, just because I want that. Unless I'm making a pie, then I'll usually get the ones that are a little bit more sour. And sometimes I'll mix the dark sweet with the sour to make a good cherry pie. So that looks like that. All right, so we got that going. Tomato sauce. All right, so we've got 24 ounces of tomato sauce. No salt. Yeah, I'll flip it. I was smart this time. Prep, open the cans. It's one of those things that early in the morning you didn't think about, and then we're like, oh, crap, messed that one up. Okay, just stir it up. All right, so we got that going, and then it's got a half a cup of the vegetable broth. So I think we're almost out there. Measure this one just a little bit. See how much I've got. What's the difference between stock and broth? Stock is more concentrated. Exactly. So like if I would have got the one that's the vegetable broth and stuff, it would have been a lot lighter color. This one you can tell that usually the stocks and stuff are really dark. I would say I'd probably use broth more because I can find it more than I can the stock. Yeah. If you want the really rich flavor, so you're cooking something like maybe some potatoes or something like that, and you could use the stock. I've used both. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. All right, so we've got the onions are in there, we've got everything that, we're simmering. Pulse. Chickpeas. What else we got? Okay, so it says so if you're following the recipe, pulse the chickpeas and cherries into small pieces. Cherries. I drain the cherries because once you let them thaw out, there's a lot of juice for the cherries. So I pretty much drained as much as I could out of there. They're just regular frozen cherries. Question, so for everybody that tried the spicy spaghetti squash, what did you guys think earlier? Was it good? Good. Bill tried it too. He said it was good. Okay, you got this. You want to pour this into something else. What do you do with the blade? Do what? So underneath here, there's a hole where the blade is. Put your finger in it, hold it. Because you know when a lot of times when you're doing this food processor and you do this, and then the blade goes boop, and then you got the tomato sauce and everything else on you, there's just right there, just put your finger in it and hold it. That's all you need to do. You could take it out if you want to, but then sometimes when you take it out, things fall through the middle hole that's there. So just hold it like that. I'm full of tips and tricks. I love tips and tricks. Okay, I want to make sure I've got this in there. And then transfer the mixture to the pot. Make sure I'm following everything. Let's put the peppers in before I actually add that. Okay. So we've got everything else. So I've got to put the rest of the beans in there. Kidney beans. They're drained. Turn it down. Kidney beans. It's weird, I don't know what's going on in Colorado right now. To find no salt kidney beans and pinto beans was really hard. Everything else is out there, but for some reason, I don't know why the two of those couldn't find them. It must be. So like everybody's buying it or something. I don't know. It's a weird. Usually like when you go and you can get, there's like 5 different brands of beans and everything, and then I always look for the no salt, and I was like, wow, it is not there. Okay, so we got that. So I'm going to add some of the spices. So we've got dried oregano, so a tablespoon. How do you get down the measurements where you can just kind of eyeball it? What's an easy way? Use these, of course, right? What's another way? You want to do it like what they do on TV, where they're just like. So it says here, I need a tablespoon of dried oregano. Take it, measure it out. Put it in your hand. So every time you get ready to measure something, put it in your hand so you get the feel. And eventually and stuff, what's going to end up happening is you're going to know by looking at, so if you just like pour a bunch in, you're going to know exactly how much it is for a tablespoon, teaspoon, and that. So that's one of the tips and tricks. Boy, it smells good. You're lucky you're up front. It's like a Vegas show, you know, when like watermelon juice and things like that. What's that guy that does that? Yes, there you go. You're lucky I didn't make you wear a bib. I do have a tendency when I'm doing cooking classes like this, sometimes things will flip out, so be careful. Watch me. Okay, dried oregano and then chipotle powder. So one of the things I always recommend, because a lot of people will tell me, it's like, well, okay, how come your recipes taste so good, but then I'll go on YouTube or I'll go on Pinterest because there's thousands of recipes out there, and they're like, how come those don't taste good? And how come the vegan food's not tasting good? A lot of times what I end up finding with a lot of recipes, they either underspice or overspice. And a lot of times, most of the time, I find is overspicing. So one of the things I always recommend, even with my recipes, because you want to make sure you taste it to your taste buds and that, is when you look at them, always start small on the spices. So if it says like a tablespoon of oregano, go with like 1/8 of a teaspoon, or maybe like say 1/2 of a teaspoon, and try it. And then taste it and see what you think, and then add more. Because you can always add more, you can't take it away. And I've known lots and lots of people that when they've actually started cooking and stuff, they'll use exact spices, and then they say, I end up throwing about 6 or 7 dishes away. So always go low and build up, because then you can put it to exact taste. Camera guy, I'm going to show you real quick just kind of what it looks like so far. About So you can already tell it's got this nice color. Can you get it? Have what? Okay, thank you. And then, okay, so 1 teaspoon. All right, that's all cooked. So we got the peppers need to go in real quick. We'll get those done. Look at those, aren't those pretty? And they're all small. She's for hire. Give that a couple things, and then we're going to start dishing up some things for you guys to try. We want to start dishing, we can do that. We can do this, like a little bit of the salad first. We're not going to have enough for everybody, but for samples, and please share if you have a husband or a wife here. I said you have to share. Oh, that's true. All right, finger in there. Spatula, grab it out. We'll let this simmer a little bit while we're serving the rest of this. See, doesn't come out. Not even on YouTube. I should put it on YouTube. Then I have like, what, 1 million hits, and no, it's just one of those things. I had it like this, and many times and stuff, of course, same thing. The blade falls in there, and you try to take it out. And I was sitting there, and I was talking to somebody one day. This was probably like 6 years ago, and I was just kind of like, when your fingers kind of move, and I was like, wait, there's a hole here, and I was like, look at that. It's great. I should get YouTube. The what? Yeah, no. I do have YouTube videos out there. So I did a whole bunch of, I probably did about 40 videos, and they're all like 5 minutes to 2 minutes, and they're all tips and tricks. So what I did is kind of started with the first of the alphabet, and I was like, apples. What do you do with apples? How do you make some recipes? How do you store them? All those type of things. So if you're interested in stuff, just let me know. Send me an email. It's Kelley, Kelley, @plantbasedkitchen.com. But there's tons of them out there for those kind of things, and it's just fun because artichokes, like how do you cook an artichoke? How do you do those type of things? So they are out there, and I'm going to heat this up just a second, and then we're serving. All right, we've got quite a few dishes, so we may need more forks. Didn't think about that. We could actually put the tacos on that one. Why that one we're doing it. And I'll put this down to medium. Yeah, we're good. We'll do lime on the side. I'm gonna grab a bowl, and then when you're doing avocado, you've got it all diced up. You could actually get a spoon if you want to. Just put this down right there. Or, if you don't have a spoon handy, squeeze it. So instead of you got it all diced up, get it all out. And the nice thing about it, oops, wrong one. Toss it, done. And then it's not as pretty, but at the same time when you're in a hurry and stuff and just want to make something up really quick, that's all you need to do. Okay. So coming up, like I said, we've got some here that we can try out. Make sure I'm not burning. Feel free to start. Don't be shy. I always tell everybody, don't be shy. A little bit more? Yep, there you go. Okay, let's move that there. You can do me a favor and kind of move that over. then we can get everything out to this way, which will be easier. One of the things that I would do, this is, like I said, this Katie Mae's recipe, I'd have like a great like homemade salsa. I would add that too. Thank you. On there. You're welcome. So once you eat it, then you always have to tell me, because I always do this in my classes. I always ask how you would change it. I'm always interested to find out if somebody would put something else in it or change it just a little bit. No, does not have mushrooms. No mushrooms in that one. The only one that has mushrooms is the three bean chili. No, I'm just going to make it smell it. I'm mean that way. I have to ask Jerry. I don't know about that. Okay, we're gonna make some other stuff real quick. I'm gonna dish up the other because we're gonna be on time or out of time. Yep. There's another one. Okay. Done. Off. Off. Okay, it's gonna be a little weird because we don't have bowls, but you guys will make do, right? First. Oh my God, that's good. Did you notice I didn't put any salt, anything else in it? That, really good. Okay, spoons. I'm trying not to get avocado all over everything. We'll just start handing them out. Oops, I splattered. So if you make this at home, just don't throw the mushrooms in. Yep. It's really not spicy at all, yeah, because depends on the jalapenos. It depends on whether or not the jalapenos are actually, sometimes you'll get them and sometimes they're really spicy, other times they're not. There's one, but it's not spicy at all. Grab your spoon right down that way. More I went really small on the chipotle powder, so I would add a little bit more of that. I would add a little bit of cayenne if you wanted to, and some more jalapeno, and then maybe like you could even add a serrano or something like that if you wanted to. When I cook for groups, I always try to keep it kind of a little bit more mellow. So please grab the chili really quick because we've got to get ready to get off stage, and I don't want anything to go to waste. It needs to find good tummy homes. Everybody like the salad? Very refreshing for summertime. Dawn? Yes. Spoon's right down that way. All right, who hasn't get him? Come on up real quick. Because then we're going to. Uh-huh. That's the one that I gave. There's actually one of them back there on the back table that I gave to Chef AJ when she came in. Yep. Go ahead. Here for you.
So while you're
All right, I got
enjoying that,
2 more.
we've got 2 more here, but we're going to do the last raffle. So if you guys want to dig out your tickets, we've got 2 left. We got 2 gifts left.
AV guy. Come on.
655221.
I'll give you this one, and I'll get one for the AV guy.
221. Hey. Oh. 655170.
You want to give it to your partner? 2-1? Do you want 1 too? Okay. I'll give you the last of it, and that's it.
Choice, blue or silver? Congrats, and there's one more. They can come take the tables, right?
Yep, they can take the tables.
655229. All right. Thank you. And everybody give it up for Kelly. Fabulous job.
And Jill. I can't do this without Jill. What do you think of it? What do you think of the chili? Isn't it good? Mm-hmm. You could also put strawberries in it. I picked cherries because I think cherries to me make it just with chili and stuff's a lot better. I think all but one. One right here.